All right, welcome back, my brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the show. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors. And if you're watching or listening on the podcast, rather, this is Positively American. Guys, we have a hell of a show to walk you through today. On these episodes in the midday with the lives, we're blending all the gun control news, all the gun control stuff with the politics general because we are building a bridge to take back our country and change that culture, which drives the entire thing. So as you guys are getting in here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you're on YouTube, follow me on X at Braden LOA, and if you are on the podcast, make sure you like and share it and add to those downloads because we are on a mission here. All right, as you guys filter in on the YouTube channel, hit that 5x5 in the audio, make sure the audio and the video is good to go, and then we will make this leave the station because this freedom train is going. All right, we have got audio, video. Let's jump straight in. We have got a lot to talk about. All right, so if you guys are not familiar, we have an X profile. It's at Braden LOA, and this is where all the expansion is happening. Our YouTube channel is growing regularly, very normal, very, very controlled. The X account is popping off, so make sure you follow me at Braden LOA, and that little thing up there at the top, the second press, that is our community that we are starting. And if you wanted to know how we're going to change the culture and you want to see actual proof positive of how this is already working, check this out. I'm going to jump over to Moms Man Action's X profile, and wouldn't you know it, the very first thing that when you search for Moms Man Action on X is our parody video mocking them right below it. It's the first thing. This is how we're going to change the culture. We're going to use technology and we're going to create content and flood them out of the zone. And anytime someone searches for Moms Demand Action, they're going to see our video making fun of them as wine-drinking psychopaths. Right there, proof positive, and I hope you guys love every second of that because that video was a hell of a lot of fun to make. All right, let's get into this, everybody. Thank you so much, Skip West. Keep up the great work. We are going to try our very hardest. Make sure you send this out and share this with everyone right now because we are live. All right. First thing we're going to hit, this is some of the breaking stuff we're going to touch on. 3 federal and Texas law enforcement sources tell me an active shooter with a rifle and tactical gear ambushed Border Patrol agents as they arrived at the Border Patrol Annex facility in McAllen, Texas this morning. Local police and federal agents returned fire, killing him. I'm told this was a purposeful ambush attack against federal agents, and a press conference is planned for later this morning, and we will absolutely cover that. But guys, the reason that I want to hit this is because this is actively leftist action against a determined topic, a determined agent, a determined entity or an enemy. It's ramped up by the Democrats using rhetoric like Nazis and fascists and all of the hatred and kidnapping of a country. And then it's amplified by the media who are only making it even worse. Guys, you are actively looking at people's reactions to when the media and the Democrats do what they do. All the while, they get the benefit of trying to attempt to say, see, if we just didn't have guns, this wouldn't happen. This is the problem right here. All right, let's keep on going because these midday shows, these lives are meant for a very specific purpose to bring everything together and tie it all to the forefront. All right, so I'm going to jump into the Epstein thing very briefly. I mean, like, very briefly. So
in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have.
All right. If you guys are not familiar, the DOJ announced last night that there was nothing. There's no list. There's no videotapes. There's no nothing after talking about how many terabytes of videotapes and documents and lists there were. Objectively, that's not a good look. I'm not going to say much more than that because YouTube won't let me continue on. But when you're looking at what we're looking at, it's not a good look. Welcome in, Random Yank. Make sure you guys are sending this out because I can tell you the YouTube algorithm did not send this one out. Notifications did not go out, so make sure you send this out. All right, so we are kind of jumping around on the updates of the day. Let me jump into one of the Elon Musk's updates. This time from Harry Inton at CNN. I want to show you what he's saying. Now, if you are not familiar and you're coming back from the long weekend with a beautiful, amazing glow of freedom upon your face from celebrating Independence Day, You may not know that Elon Musk started a third party in the United States called the America Party. It's going to pull from the right and it's going to split the vote. We've covered that in 2 or 3 different videos. See, look at that. Shane says he did not get a notification. I'm telling you guys, I do not make things up. Make sure you send this out and overcome the dastardly plan of the YouTube algorithm. All right. If you are not familiar, this is going to affect the right and the control of Congress. That's what Elon Musk has said. I'll do an update video with this later on, right down there, probably in the morning, because that's when I do the supercuts and the mashups. I want to show you what happens when you throw Elon Musk in here, according to CNN's analyst Harry Enton, because we screamed about this. Watch this.
Yeah, this entire thing makes very little sense to me. It makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. What are we talking about here? What is the size of Elon Musk's base? Well, I calculate it to be about 4%, just 4%, 1, 2, 3, 4% of all voters. What is that base made up of? Well, it's those who view Elon Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. We're talking just about 4% of all voters out there, because it turns out most of the people who like Elon Musk already like the GOP already. That is, they already have a party for.
All right, this is the key point. We are uniquely positioned on this channel to dive out and dive into this stuff and build bridges into other areas. It's one of the things I designed the channel to do. But when you look at what he's saying, it's mirroring, it's emulating exactly what I was shouting about this weekend when we were talking about the live updates on the Elon Musk introduction. It's such a perfect graphic. Those who view Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. Okay, guys, you have to understand, if you get 4% of the GOP voters, you're going to take away seats from the GOP, and the Democrats going to either win the seat or the America Party is going to basically just have 2 or 3 seats. You're looking at it right here on CNN. I told you this over the weekend, but now Harry Enton's out here on CNN saying things that we said freaking 2 days ago. You have to understand where this is going to pull from. It's the people who view Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. That does not mean Democrats. That means the right. If you lose 4% of the voters, that's almost all the swing races. And Elon Musk has already said he's only going to hit a select few races, like 2 or 3 Senates and 8 to 10 House seats. It's not going to net them the win. It's going to take votes away from the right, and then it's going to legitimately give it to the left. You're talking about a party switch right there. Now, a lot of people, and I'm going to hit this real hard, direct head on. A lot of people have said, well, Braden, we're just going to keep on doing the same things over and over and over again? Are we just going to keep on giving the Republican Party carte blanche to just make whatever rules they want and ignore us? No, not at all. Look over here. If you're just now tuning in, look what we've accomplished in just a week and a half on changing the culture, or attempting to change the culture. When you search for Moms Demand Action on X, the first thing that pops up is our parody video making them look like controlling wine-drunk women in their upscale homes. This is how you do it. If you want to join this mission, second press link in the description box below. Get in here. We've got so many ways we're going to do it, but this is a perfect example of changing the culture under their feet, because when someone searches for them, they get that parody video saying real true stuff. That's the whole point. But anyway, let's get back to Harry Enton. 4%. And I'll get the super chats in 1 second. Thank you, VG Hammer. Let's keep going.
In my mind, there is just no base for Elon Musk's third party in the electorate, at least initially speaking.
All right. When we talk about third parties at the presidential level, the candidate who most recently had the most success in terms of getting the most votes was Ross Perot. So how does Elon Musk compare to Ross Perot?
Yeah, we'll go all the way back in the time machine to 1992.
All right, just so we can be fully clear and bring the receipts. That's exactly what I said the day it occurred, the hour that they announced this whole third party. I said Ross Perot was the most recent example, and it led to Clinton, which led to the assault weapons ban. And on this channel, that's a pretty important focal point. Let's continue.
And we will note Americans with an unfavorable view, i.e. essentially that Musk starts off with far more against him than Ross Perot ever did. Americans with an unfavorable view of Ross Perot was only 14% back in 1992. Now, the vast majority of Americans are already against Elon Musk, 58%. So what we're essentially saying here is that Elon Musk is going to go into an electorate that already dislikes him, is already against him, while there were far more people who are open to the idea of a Ross Perot third-party or independent candidacy as compared to an Elon Musk third party in which the vast majority of Americans have already sided against the man from Tesla.
So Elon Musk says he's going to play, forget, the presidential election is year.
All right, he's about to go into the fine-tuned stuff. But guys, Ross Perot had 14%. Elon Musk has 4%. Elon Musk is not going to win seats. Most likely, it's possible, but most likely no. What's much more likely is that it's going to take votes from the Republicans and give the majorities to the Democrats. The Democrats are screaming from the rooftops with glee. And I'm only 5 tabs in. Literally, guys, this is a very large problem. I'll openly tell you that. I'm not going to shoot smoke up your skirt. I'm telling you this is a problem. All right, let's keep on going.
Years away, the congressional election next year, he says he wants to play there. What's the history of third-party candidates in congressional races?
Horrible, awful, terrible, terrible, terrible. What are we talking about here? All right, elected to Congress from a third party since 1970, just 0.2% of all winners were either third party, independent, or write-in. We're only talking about 24 out of over 13,000 winners. The bottom line is third party, independents, they just don't succeed. Donald Trump is right when he's talking about the fact that third party simply.
All right, I'm just going to cut him off there. 24 races out of 13,000. I'm going to say that again for you on the podcast. 24 out of 13,000. This effort of Elon Musk is not going to net what he's selling. What it's going to do is it's going to take seats away from the GOP because the votes are going to come out of the GOP race vote totals and they're going to maintain the Democrat vote totals. They're going to take away 1 or 2% from the GOP. You're going to have 1%, 4%, 2% of America Party. GOP is taken because they take those votes. Democrats win with a plurality. I'm telling you, that's how this works. And if you've seen the party platform, it further confirms in my other videos, you are not going to see a pull from the left. You're going to see a pull from the right. This is not going to work the way that Elon thinks it's going to. Anyway, let's keep on going. That's one update. On this one, I wanted to start something really positive, but before I do that, let me hit the super chat that we had. VG Hammer for $5 said, I had hoped that Trump winning so decisively would have forced the Dems to tone down the rhetoric. But with these attacks, I'm worried now about a civil war. I think that's a next level thing, and here's why I think that's a next level thing, VG. Because in order for a civil war to happen, we have to take the low road and we have to decide that we can't win. It's that simple. There has to be absolutely no alternatives forward, and we have plenty of alternatives because we have the Constitution on our side. We are moving in the right direction in some areas. Not all of them. I'll be the first one to tell you, not all of them. But at the end of the day, we are winning the culture war, and we are changing the culture specifically for at victory. That's the important piece. The Civil War thing, they are going to try to attack us. They're going to try to put riots out there. They're going to try to beat us down, yell at us, scream at us from behind masks. But the bottom line is there are more of us than there are of them, and they are not going to win this. We've seen it before in the 60s, and we've seen it again in the 2020s. This is what's going to happen in time if we stay the course. We're not only going to win, we're going to ostracize them through the population and changing it like this, exactly like this. And if you haven't seen this, I'll go ahead and play this, actually. You know what? Let's have some fun with it. Let me just show you what we're doing to them.
The idea is simple. We're going to convince everyone that their rights are too dangerous. What if the people say things like that is unconstitutional or see through our bullshit? Amazing question. The number one rule is stay away from facts or data. We want emotion. If all else fails, just start screaming they have blood on their hands. Works every time. Every time.
Bitches.
So that video you just saw that we created through the Second Press, that's on the first search response on Moms Demand Action on X. That's how we're going to win right there. You want proof positive? Right there. Super chat from Brian Peckinpah, $10. Thanks YouTube for nothing. I don't know how people can think a party created by billionaires is going to be any different. Plus, saying there are no interest groups, you mean besides their own multiple businesses. That's a very good point. Excellent statement. All right, so now I'm going to focus on a little bit of a positive real quick because I really like the positive side. This flood in Texas is a horrible disaster. It's horrible. Don't worry, the left is out there full on blasting and running with the idea that somehow we can politicize this and it's not absolutely humanly gross. But I'll get to that in a second. There's also some positive stuff. Look at this. Colin Rugg, Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin saved 165 lives in the Texas flash flood. The kid is 26 years old. That kid right there saved 165 people. There is good in this country. A vast majority of the people are good. It's just the very loud minority happen to be shitbags. I'll say it. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, let's continue. I got a super chat real quick. Fred Samuel. Elon used to be a Democrat. It would not surprise me if he planned this with their leadership. I cannot allude to that, but it is true. He did used to be a Democrat. Actually, full-on set of socialist. Don Munt, excuse me. Our battle should be in the arena of ideas, period. That is where we've won before. The Civil War idea is not a reality in our time. It won't happen. It won't happen if we continue to grind for the course. Violence can always we can always devolve into violence, but only when we give up. All right. Now, what I want to show you here is some Democrats weaponizing the flood and talking about how it's Trump's fault. Okay? This is going to something, I'm going to tie all this together, and then I'm going to wrap this up with what gun controllers attempted to do, which is the next level disgusting. So let's hit CNN real quick, which has arguably lower ratings than this channel. Let's get it.
Just talking about the federal government and even the local government, 2 Texas National Weather Service offices involved in forecasting and warning about flooding on the Guadalupe River are missing some key staff members. A director of the NWS union told CNN that the Austin San Antonio office is missing a warning coordination meteorologist due to the Trump administration's buyouts. Do you have any indication whether those or other cuts helped play a role in the fact that the people in the flood zone were not prepared?
All right, that was a tortured attempt from Dana Bash. Good Lord, take 8 years longer. Basically, Trump's cuts and the money-saving measures that he's put in place, is that responsible for the failures to get the flood warning out at 4 a.m. when the waters rose 26 feet in about 33 seconds or 33 minutes? This is the point. When you look at, and I'm going to get amped for a second. When you look at all the things that we're seeing, guys, what I just show you right here, a armed individual went after the Border Patrol agents when they're walking back into their building with a rifle. They were taken care of. You can see the actual images right there. Those are active impacts, okay? When you look at the rhetoric that the media is spewing and what they're trying to attempt to do in order to maintain power, this is what the outcome of this rhetoric is. They've been doing it forever, and it's getting to a fever pitch. Anyway, going back to this, because it's all about trying to make it untenable to be a governor. Watch this.
Prepared and certainly not evacuated?
I can't say that conclusively, but I do think that it should be. And I don't think it's helpful to have missing key personnel from the National Weather Service not in place to help prevent these tragedies. And, when I say that we ought to do everything possible to help.
Okay, so you can see the Democrat line, right? I'm not going to say it was related to the cuts, but I will say it doesn't seem to be helpful not to have people in the right places. Look, ABC did the exact same thing once it loads up. Like right there, it's the same thing. Questions over vacancy in National Weather Service amid floods. Guys, it's the same game. They're all playing by the same script. I'm not going to show you because I cannot stand George Snuffleupagus. But here's an actual counteracting point. Turns out they were perfectly amounted. They actually had more people on duty during the storm. It turns out that weather is one of those things that kind of surprises people. I don't want this to happen. I wish this never happened. But to politicize it is trash. For example, enter gun control extraordinaire. All right, you and I are about to get emotional for a second. Because tying the bridge between the national politics and the gun rights is something that's incredibly important. And a big part of that is destroying the narrative the gun controllers try to put out. Because they are disgusting people in this case, okay? This is an account that focuses on highlighting gun control arguments through tracking school shootings and tracking all the innocent children who are harmed. Now, there's manipulation in the past on this account where it's like if there was a gun shooting that happened between two gangs that was near a school at 9 p.m. at night, overnight, they'll still count it. But let's not get facts in the way of the emotion. Let me show you what this piece of human filth actually just posted in the wake of 26 young children dying and 87 people total. 21 students and teachers were murdered in Uvalde because Texas doesn't have a red flag law or fund prevention of mass shootings. 21 children drowned at Camp Mystic. 11 girls and one counselor still missing because they didn't get a flood warning. Same story, different plot. Really? Let's talk about that, you human piece of actual excrement. You just took the fact that the number of 21 was somehow related, and you took a weather event, which was a flash flood within hours of innocent children and camp counselors dying from floodwaters, and you equated it to Uvalde, Texas, and a shooting because they didn't have red flag laws. You want to follow the path here? Here's the path. There's a flood. Innocent children are killed. Hey, wait a minute. Innocent children were killed in an Uvalde school shooting. Wait a minute. They don't have red flag laws. So therefore, flooding, Uvalde, red flag laws. Look, we arrived back at gun control. I've got 3 fingers on both hands. You can pick which one. I'll give you a hint. It's in the middle. This crap right here is who we're fighting. I told you I'd get emotional. This is disgusting. And honestly, I'm just going to leave it there. It's disgusting. I'm live. I can't edit out some other stuff. All right, let's keep on going. I hope you guys feel the same way because that is just gross. Now, I feel better now. God, this is why we fight so hard, guys. Anyway, let's get into this real quick because the gun controllers found it. They found the solution. This is the way. It turns out that Flavor Flav was the answer the whole time. This is seriously what ABC aired this weekend about Flavor Flav asking for gun control because of a gangland drive-by shooting. Watch this.
Turning now to a mass shooting this week in Chicago, sparking yet another nationwide conversation on gun violence. 4 people were killed and 14 others injured when shots rang out at a restaurant near where rapper Mellow Buzz was hosting a mixtape release party. It happened in the city's busy River North neighborhood. The incident striking a chord with rapper Flavor Flav. He's known around the world for his work with legendary group Public Enemy and as a reality TV star.
All right, we'll let that buffer for a second. Okay, so keep in mind, as we set up these parameters for ABC to sound off the alarm and say Flavor Flav is now the authority on we shouldn't have any gun rights in the Second Amendment in the United States, Flavor Flav, because in Chicago, a gun control city, there was a drive-by and the murder of multiple people at a mixtape release party by multiple individuals. But don't let facts get in the way, guys. Gun control is the solution. Yeah. This is actually what ABC aired. This is not made up. I didn't create this. This is what they aired. Let's keep on going. All right, hold on a second. I got to redo it.
Yet a group Public Enemy and as a reality TV star, but he also once served time in jail because of a gun crime. His own experience leading to this op-ed in Newsweek calling for the United States to completely ban firearms, writing in part, quote, "Our schools aren't safe and our kids aren't safe." Also releasing a new song protesting gun violence called March Madness. Here's a little bit of that.
Absolutely not. not a chance. Okay. So ABC's new tact in this is you can't have your gun rights. You are bad. Because in Chicago, some of the most extreme gun control on the entire face of the continental United States, there was a shooting with a drive-by with multiple people with full auto, which again is against NFA. And now Flavor Flav is the answer to get all the guns. Ban the Second Amendment. Get rid of all guns. This is what ABC is putting out right here. This is why we fight. This is why you guys fuel the fight. This is why you tune in, because holy crap. All right, let's keep on going. Because if you weren't sure if they were crazy, we're gonna go to the next one. Oh look, the Trace. This is a gun control organization. White, legally armed, and primed for political violence. I can't imagine who would be ramping up the pressure. Things like this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the people. These are the psychopaths that are actually trying to take your rights. All right. And speaking of psychopaths, I'm going to show you something to wrap up this episode real quick. This is something that is very prominent on the left. The left does this thing where they consistently sit in their front seats of their cars and they do 8 to 10 second clips, all with really well thought out punchlines, and then they stitch it all together all while they're screaming. Because when you don't have substance, you just scream with volume and it makes your point. Okay? I'm going to show you this one. This one's insane. And I got a super chat just came in from BG Hammer. If you give up your liberty for security, you deserve neither and shall get neither. That is very true. All right, let me get into... Okay, easy, Thunder. All right, so I want you to pay attention very closely because this is what's going on the left. This is the big thing on the left, okay? Take all your gun rights, take all your freedoms, take all your rules. The rules don't matter. It's all about evil. You're bad because you're a Republican or MAGA or conservative, whatever. And we're just going to scream at the camera really intently from a front seat of a car. Again, remember those 8 seconds of gotcha clips all stitched together. Watch this.
You're proud of what this country is and what it stands for today. You're either slower than a nudist trying to get through a barbed wire fence, or you're a fucking bigot. There's no in between anymore. And for that, fuck you, fuck the 4th of July, and fuck this country. That's it. That's about what I've got for today. Because watching all you freedom-loving, red hat and conservative motherfuckers circle jerk yourselves into oblivion as your own lives get worse, people's rights are stripped off them faster than Donnie's dirty depends at the end of the day, and all the other countries in the world are starting to inch away from the U.S. as the U.S. starts to rot and stink is just about too fucking much for me. Cannot imagine being such a connoisseur of lead paint that you're proud of what this country stands for today.
All right, so we're going to take a breath for a moment and just analyze what we've gotten so far, the extreme amazingness from this. Replace content with volume, get some nice little one-liners and short little clips and stitch them together, and make sure you're really, really loud and use a lot of vulgar language. It makes the point every time. Yeah. Okay, so in that, you got the connoisseur lead paint, you got Donnie's diaper depends, and then you got the first one, which was really stupid. I think it was, I can't remember what it was. It's too stupid. But the point is, it's all emotion, it's all anger. This is what we're beating. We're gonna take this clip and we're gonna make an amazing one out of the second press. You just wait till I show you what we're gonna come up with on this one. But it's never ending. It's never ending content. That's the point. That's why we're gonna beat these people, because they look like psychopaths. But don't worry, we got more.
You're no fucking patriot, you're a nationalist. And if you don't know what that word means, go ahead and buy yourself a dictionary and work your way backward, because clearly you shouldn't be in this fucking conversation. Anybody who stands up against this shit is 10x the patriot than any maggot piece of shit could ever fucking hope to be. And yeah, the day that I'll be proud of this country will come again, because the sun always comes back around, but it's not fucking today.
Man. Talk about a incredible, amazing laying out of a party platform and laying out of all the things that are so important. No, it's none of that. That's the whole point. You want to know why we're going to win? You want to know why we're going to follow over here at X, at Braden, on X, at Braden LOA? It's because we can actually articulate thoughts without screaming curse words and profanities. We can actually articulate policy positions and then destroy their propaganda all at the same time before I finish my coffee. This is not difficult, but when you look at what they're doing, this one didn't even make the cut today. I was going to do this one, but I'm not going to do that one. I'll save it for another time. This is what you are fighting. This is what we grind with every single day. And at the end of the day, whether it is a rhetoric increase, which leads to violence like this, whether it is Elon Musk's little party, whether it's the Epstein files that just are going to go poof and never mind, it doesn't matter what it is. The bottom line, we are grinding towards freedom on this channel. We're going to do lives like this every single day, stitching together the gun control, psychopathy, and the politics that are blending together and what drives all of it. And we are going to pass the blessings of freedom on to the next generation better than we found them, because we can beat these people easy, using our minds, and using conversations, and using new technology. That's what it's all about. Make sure you check out secondpress.co. It's a link in the description box below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. I hope every single one of you have the best day you've had since yesterday, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.